I'm going to limit my next introduction because I've had a chat to our speaker, and he said he's going to be hard-pressed to squeeze into his 15-minute time slot. So suffice to say that O3b, or the other 3 billion, is something that far more people should know about. So please welcome O3b's Sales Manager for Papua New Guinea and the Pacific, Mike Mullis.
Good afternoon. So, 4:20 in the afternoon, I'm picking most of you are either asleep, falling asleep, thinking about the bar tonight, thinking about food. So my challenge is to try and keep you awake, keep you enlivened, and my presentation really follows on really well from Shumabel's presentation before about technology and the impact of technology in the payment sector. So most of you, in fact, Cook Islanders, don't put your hands up because you're cheating. Does anyone know who O3b is? You're cheating. Alrighty. So O3b, we're a relatively new company worldwide and especially in the Pacific. We've been around for approximately 6 years. And we were born, without a word of a lie, in the jungles of Rwanda 6 years ago. Our founder, Greg Weiler, was there working on humanitarian aid. And he came to the realisation that every single person in the world, especially the 3 billion that weren't connected to the internet, have a fundamental human right to have the same speed, the same performance that we have in the Western world. And O3b has grown from there. So what I'd like to share with you now, the 25th of June last year, O3b's dream became a reality. We changed the world forever. And we changed it in such a step change, it's almost akin to the day the telephone was unveiled to the world. Let's take a look at what we did on the 25th of June.
We are 1 minute to launch. We're orbiting the first 4 satellites in the O3b constellation built by Thales Alenia Space for O3b networks. And we are flying on board the 5th Soyuz to launch from its new home here at the Guyana Space Centre. 40 seconds to launch. We're switching to onboard power. Watch out for the big metallic mast. There it goes. And don't forget to count to 16 once you see the first burn of the engines.
Attention pour le début de la séquence d'allumage lanceur. Top H0 moins 20 secondes. Top largage ma VKM. Top allumage triétage. À tous le DDO, attention pour le décompte final. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, unité, pousse, décollage. Les moteurs vibrèrent. Les paramètres des moteurs à bord sont nominaux. Des moteurs est conforme à l'attendu.
And we are off, hauling ourselves against the gravity of the Earth, all 310 tons. We're heading out east over the Atlantic Ocean, and we are burning 5 engines. Everything's going according to plan, he says.
So O3b, who are we? We are a privately owned company. We're headquartered in the Netherlands. We have corporate offices in the United Kingdom, The Hague. Our spacecraft operations centre, network operations centre are in the US. We have sales offices again in the Netherlands, in Dubai, in Singapore, the USA. And in this region we have local sales offices in Adelaide in Australia, and myself who's based just out of Christchurch. So we make a very real point of having regional people working with our customers in the region, and that's simply because we understand what you think, we understand your needs, and we understand the cultures involved. In terms of coverage, O3b has the ability to cover most of the world. We really do specialise in essentially plus or minus 45 degrees of latitude, and that's the area of the world where connectivity is either non-existent or very poor or very expensive. And it's the very part of the world where I've heard throughout today the payment sector needs to start to address and get better connectivity. So using the O3b network, we have the ability to empower our customers, whether it's directly with yourselves or indirectly through our telecommunications providers, a new method of communicating with much faster speeds at much lower cost, and most importantly, with much less latency. So that all equates to empowering the payment sector to transact faster.
We started life with the idea that people should be connected, that the internet is the most transformative technology of our generation and that everyone should have the opportunity to participate. Our name, O3b, is a reference to the other 3 billion people who don't have access to the internet today, who don't have broadband connectivity, and they're our main focus, they're our main target. And we're talking about large parts of Latin America, large parts of Africa, right the way across Indonesia, the Pacific Islands. And there are people, I mean, the difference between being connected to the internet and not being connected to the internet is incredible from a social development, but principally from an economic development.
When you talk about the other 3 billion, to me, I see dollar signs, opportunity, large areas that are dying to soak up what you offer. Your investors, Google, SES, you've got Allen and Company, Northbridge Venture Partners. How did you attract such big names? Obviously, you had to start early with very high startup costs, launching satellites in the air.
Right, but I think the reason we were successful in raising, we've raised about 1.5 billion to finance the satellite fleet, is exactly as you say. There's huge opportunity out there. The need is very, very clearly there. It's just finding the right technology to deliver. We've been fantastically excited by what we've seen in the performance of the satellites to date, and more importantly, our customers have been excited. We're starting to bring up customers in East Timor with Timor Telecom, in Kinshasa with Raga, in Samoa with Digicel. We're really now at the stage where we're launching full commercial service.
I think there's enormous opportunities. I think as people's data needs continue to increase, there's going to be need for more and more high-speed, low-latency technology.
So I don't ever see this stopping. I never see a day where we're not going to be able to launch satellites and deliver the kind of services that we're doing. We've just hit the tip of the iceberg in some of the largest countries of the world where connectivity and internet penetration levels are still very, very low.
Okay, so O3b's vision, what are we about? We are fundamentally about reducing the cost of international connectivity, reducing the cost of broadband to yourselves, to our operators, and to your customers. Equally as important, we're about increasing access to broadband. There's vast tracts of the Pacific that most of you will be well aware either have no undersea fibre optic cable or very limited geostationary satellite connections that are both slow in terms of latency and traditionally very expensive. When you combine those two things together, the World Bank backs this up, essentially for every 10% increase in broadband penetration in a country, there's a direct correlation to the growth of the GDP of that country. And that's similar to what we heard this morning. As you can transact faster in a country, that also has a direct correlation to GDP growth. So together, we have an opportunity to increase the speed at which transactions are made in regions and countries that you may not have been able to do it in before. Very briefly, and I don't want to waste too much time on this because we're running out of time, we have delivered a next generation satellite system. We are the only provider in the world that has this technology, fully IP based and in full commercial service. A little glimpse at the markets we serve, very traditional. In the Pacific, the predominant market is telecommunications, but more and more we are getting into the enterprise market, aka payments industry, maritime and government and military. So low latency, what does that mean for payments? It's really, really important. And this is where we have a fundamental point of difference. So the traditional satellite operators that many of you may have used to date, they fly their satellites at 36,000 kilometres above the Earth. And there's a very good reason they do that, because at 36 kilometres above the Earth, 36,000 kilometres above the Earth, the satellite rotates at the same speed the Earth does, which is why the satellite appears to be stationary. Our game changer is we fly our satellites at 8,000 kilometres above the Earth. Do the math, that's 4 times closer to the Earth. What does that mean for latency? It means your speeds are 4 times faster. You can put more data throughput through there. Our satellites are cheaper to build, cheaper to launch, and that's how we get the cheaper bandwidth through to you. We won't dwell on this. This is another graphic of basically what I've just said in the last slide. If you look right over to the right-hand side, excuse me, you can see the traditional geostationary satellite in the dark brown bar, averaging around about a 500 millisecond delay. And that's why you get echo in your voice, that's why your Skype video freezes up, and that's why you get timeouts on your FPOS machines and Visa transactions. Whereas at O3b, we're 4 times closer, everything's sped up. You don't get timeouts, you don't get video freeze up, and you don't get delay on your voice. So very quickly in 2008, most of us would have downloaded files to a hard drive on your computer. We sat in classrooms just like this, and you've got a blackboard duster thrown at your head if you fell asleep. And we were just starting to really embrace laptops. Whereas compare that to 2014, I'm sure most of you, like myself, stream as much as we can straight off the internet. We use cloud-based computing. For example, in O3b, we don't have a corporate network. Every single thing we do is cloud-based. We do online training. Less and less we sit in classrooms, and more we do webinars. And of course, smartphones. This next slide is really important for the payments industry. 2013, 17% of all internet connections were made by smart devices, tablets, smartphones, and laptops. By 2025, watch this closely, 80% of all internet connections are forecast to be by smart devices. What does that mean for the payments industry? 80% of people on the internet are going to want to transact from their smart device with payments. Very briefly, this slide just shows that we can cover anywhere in the Pacific anytime. And going back to what Shamabul said in his last presentation, if you take a look at this slide, this is upside down on what normally happens. The Pacific region is leading the way in technology uptake with O3b. It's a fundamental change. Normally we are the last region in the world to take on new technology. What's important for payments? In 11 countries of the Pacific to date, there's either an active O3b service or there will be an active O3b service in the next few months. So the door is open for you to go away and consider if there's an application to work with us. Basically what it means for the payments industry in the Pacific, using our service in conjunction with our partners, you can transact faster, you can move money faster, your customers can do everything faster. And of course, it opens the whole e-economy to yourselves and to your customers. So what I'd like to do very briefly before I run out of time is just let you have a quick look at 3 of our customers and what they have to say, so you get confidence from our customers instead of just listening to me talk on. So first one up is Telecom Cook Islands.
I'm Jules Marr, Chief Executive Officer, Telecom Cook Islands. Gee, what I've seen of O3b so far just blows me away. You know, it works, it really does work. O3b claimed this would be fibre from the sky, and it absolutely is. You know, we've had our own technical people talk to those who run fibre cable systems close by, and the kind of speeds that we can achieve are as good as what they're getting for our return trip from the Cook Islands to the teleport in Hawaii and back. I mean, that's just blown us away. The reaction of our customers and those that have seen it so far is like they are stunned. Some of us said, hey, this is good as I get when I'm in Australia or New Zealand, or hey, this is 4 times faster, or hey, this is 10 times faster. Hey, I couldn't do this before. They are stunned. I think some people can't believe it yet. They think there must be some tricks going on. It's going to help this economy, which is heavily reliant on tourism, to diversify. It's going to help people who feel isolated from their families be with them, basically on a conference call, on a Skype call. It's just going to open up possibilities that weren't there before. It's going to make us more viable as a country. We're only a tiny, tiny, tiny country, and managing a huge area of space with lots of islands. It's going to help us with all that, with the government, with alternatives to expensive transport, with education. I think the education people are seeing enormous possibilities for holding kids here when they finish school to continue their education online, for improving the quality of education and the fun that they can have. It's just going to be a transformation for the whole community.
As a matter of fact, I had the privilege of trying this technology, and the experience was absolutely mind-boggling. Knowing what we had before and what we finally have now, it was literally day and night. And I couldn't be more thrilled for our customers that we now finally have the type of technology which is comparable to what they have in the Western world.
The satellite solution from O3b, the MEO satellite solution from O3b, is comparable and it's competitive against the submarine cable solution from Telkomsel. Latency, definitely latency, because latency allows us to provide more services and allow us for each application to increase their throughput. So we have a network downstream to O3b of 3G networks that can allow access to 21 megabit per second per user. But with a geostationary satellite, we cannot achieve that capacity. So O3b allows us to increase the throughput per user, which allow a better quality of experience on the internet. It's so much better and allow us to do so much more from the internet after the O3b has put in place that it's almost hard now to understand that we could live with the internet as the service was before.
Okay, so just to sum up, because I'm out of time, really the key takeaway is we are new. Now you know about us. We are in the Pacific. You can access our service either directly or indirectly via our partners. The system works way above our expectations, far better than we ever thought it would. Uptake is phenomenal, so much so that we are launching another 4 satellites in December, and after that we'll probably continue to build and launch satellites. We're here, we can empower the payments sector in the region. I'm here for the next day, come and have a chat. If you can't find me, drop me an email and we can talk over email. Thank you.